What is going on, guys? Isam here. In this video, I'm gonna be talking about the Atomic Analyst new version, and never mind again the version here that says 104. That's just the development version, and we are. I have a lot of versions that are beta as well, but what I'm coming to you with, guys, is completely different. Now, if you got used to the Atomic Analyst in the way that Atomic Analyst was built before, now we have added the Atomic Analyst to the family of, uh, to the Smart family. As you can think of it as a cousin, but the Atomic family is completely different. I keep talking about families because that's how I think. I love organizing things, and that love of organization is what you are looking at, guys, here in these programs and in this tools that I'm using. So you kind of see that the shift between time frames is so swift, and everything updates in a beautiful way. These are really very daunting tasks to complete, and it takes so much time and it takes so much effort. And I've been able to reach a good level in terms of the update of this the Atomic Analyst, and I'm pretty confident with what I have right now here, and that's what I wanted to share with you guys, the new update, because this update is going to be soon released in the market, and that's why I need to create a video of that before I put it in the market. Okay. So the Atomic Analyst, the old one, was covering the entire panel. I said this in the masterclass of the entire product. So I came up with the idea that I need something that is a lot more slimmer, right? That's going to be slim. If you click on compact, it looks slimmer, right? It just fits the corner of the chart and keeps you working with the chart, right? So that's a lot more better and a lot more feasible, right? So I have made the AI decision making a lot more smarter by adding um, a lot of indicators that are taken into consideration calculating the decisions. So these are all taken into consideration when the AI um, is trying to calculate this. Okay, and this is something that I wanted to point out because it's very important for you to understand how it works right now before you do anything. Now, it's worth mentioning also that this guy here is also taken into consideration, um, and also is used in the calculation, right? So what we have here is a complete setup where the multi time frame is taken into consideration when calculating the market. And I'll tell you why this one is important, because you will understand where the development is coming in the future of this tool. Because you are investing in this tool now, and it would give you the ability to have it for a long time, and you will keep receiving new updates. This is the idea. So the multi time frame is taken into consideration when deciding on the buy only, sell only, and wait. Okay, it's like for this, it's like a radar that actually shows you when you are driving whether you want to keep moving forward, or maybe you want to turn right or turn left or something like that. So it tells you, for example, I got this cell here. I need to see that this aligns with what is going on here, and this actually happens on a tiny bit of data. So it actually refreshes and updates using the latest data. So this one, for example, happened uh, a long time ago, and hours ago, as a matter of fact. Each candle is 30 minutes, but what's happening here in the panel is what's happening now. That's why it's really important. And what it tells you, like, just you have to think about buying only. That's because it's taking the market condition into consideration, and also the multi time frame trend. I've talked about the engines that are used in this multi time frame. It's 5 engines per time frame, which is intensive and impressive at the same time. Now I've added RSI, MACD, moving average, stochastic, Bollinger Band, Fibonacci, pivot points, CCI, and in the future I'm thinking about adding more, but I don't want to confuse the beginner traders, because this is more like um, this is a tool for everybody, but I have created it for the beginner traders who don't understand the market and don't really know anything about trading analysis or technical analysis or anything like that, and they want to start as a first step. And this is a very good tool for that. So these two guys here contribute to the calculation of this, and I will show you guys why it's important, this calculation as well. So that's the main thing. We have the trend here, as I told you guys before, and that's something also that is pretty important. These guys here, I have divided this into equally by eight engines here and 8 engines here, right? So these 8 engines are more like the status of the market in terms of the trend, the volatility, the momentum, and the demand, right? So, and also the strength of the currency. So I've taken into consideration the entire concepts that we have in the market, like momentum, trend, and volume, demand, and volatility, and also the pair currency. And all these guys are contributing into the decision. And the contribution, as I always say, is selective. It's not proportional, it's selective. Or the voting power, as I like to call it, is very selective. So we have indicators, we have concepts, general concepts of trading, and we have MTF all participating into this vote of buy only and sell only. Now, you also have to take into consideration something really pretty important, the quality of that decision. Because when there are a lot of conflicts here between the indicators, for example, bullish, bearish, and wait. So these guys are not quite agreeing on the same thing, but we can see that the MTF is agreeing on in a very higher extent, and also these guys here are agreeing to a higher extent, which is like the concepts, as I like to call them. So that's why you have a buy only, but you have to take a look at the quality, because the quality comes from these conflicts here. If we have less conflict, we would better quality of the decision. Now I call this the quality of the EI atomic decision. This is how you can read it. But the trend is bullish. So it tells you, okay, bullish trend, okay, but the quality of the buy only is 59%, which is not quite good as far as I'm concerned. I like 80%, 85, sometimes even 90 if I'm really strict. Now, if it's 90, you're gonna see something like this, moves like this. But here it's pretty. The market is moving in a sideways, I would say, but still, it's showing you a buy opportunity, but the quality is low. Now, this is not something I would want it to take. Now, I want to show you something that I have added also, which is pretty interesting. Let me clean out the chart. Now, what I have added is, let me get this bigger so that you can see. So, by the way, this is the compact where you have only the MTF and the decision. So you can switch between these guys here by a click of a button. Now, what I have added is this guy here. And you can see that when I hover over it, it says row, breakout, trend, and EI families, which means that you can cycle through row signals, breakout signals, trend signals, and EI signals. Now we have 4 types of signals, and I'll show you what I mean by 4 types of signals. Now, let's take this for example. The row signal is going to happen every time you got this first switch between this trailing stop of the green to the red, which means that not from, because you might get it's not a switch from a green candle to a red candle and vice versa. No, it's the base of the atomic, the old version 1 atomic kind of way of thinking, right? It follows these line, and whenever the line switches, it would give you a signal like this here at the close of the candle, which means the open of the new candle. That's why you have it here. It gives you a sell signal in this case. That's the raw signal, right? And you can switch, and you kind of see, like, look at the type of the arrow, which will change if I click one click, it will change to breakout. That's it. The word is clipped, but I'm gonna fix that. Don't worry about that. So uh, it says breakout filter. Now the breakout filter would align with the raw signals, but not all the time, because there is another indicator in the background which I choose not to show, which filters out a higher number of the bad trades, like this one here. You kind of see that there was an arrow before, and if I go back to the row, you kind of see this signal right here. That's raw, okay? But when I go to the breakout, it's disappeared, because and also the type of arrow changed. And this comes with a buffer. Each one of them, like the raw and the breakouts, comes with different buffers. This is going to be important when I'm going to be talking about the automation of the atomic analyst, or the automation part. So the breakout filters out a lot of bad trades that comes with the um, the raw signal. The raw signal is the switch between these colors, right? Whenever I have between these trailing stop colors. So I have these trailing stop colors would give me one buy signal. When it changes, it would give it to the red. This one will give me a sell signal, and this one is starting here will give me a buy signal. Okay, as easy as that. Now, it's worth mentioning here that the breakout filter filters out a lot of trades, but they still look like each other from a different from the way you are looking at it in the chart when you click between them. But make sure that you follow the arrows as I told you, because they're completely different. You're gonna see that this one has been called out when I called the breakout. It's gone. And also the type of arrows and the shape of arrows is different. Look at the shape of this arrow. That's a plot. That's a different plot. And the buffer does not have anything to do with the plot. You can have a buffer without a plot. But the plot numbers are different and the buffer numbers are different. So these comes with a buffer, and look at the shape of that here. It changes to it's translated to the breakout filter arrows. Now I do have another one. If you read the hover again, it says breakout trend, and it says trend. Now I have added, okay, so let's say that the raw has a problem, right, which was solved here by the breakout filter. Now I found throughout the years that the breakout filter has other problems, which is that it kind of tries to find trades everywhere, again and again and again and again. And that's something that I was working on to solve. And I decided to turn to add the option of turning the breakout filter into a trend filter. So I am using the indicator that I told you about in the background that filters out the raw. And on top of that, I added a trend filter which detects the trend in the background. Again, I don't like to show things because it does not make sense, right? So when I click on the trend filter, it shows trend filter, and it removes this cell because the trend is up. Look at it from this perspective, right? Why would you want to see, for example, let me make that green. So the trend is up, going up, going up, going up, right? So why would you want to sell if the trend is going up? That does not make sense. That's why I created trend filter that filters out the trend trades. And instead of showing you this sell, for example, when the trend is up, it cleans it out, right? It removes it. And also the statistics updates with that as well. And if while I'm clicking, take a look at the statistics, right? Because it will remove a lot of trades, and this is the total number of peps that you would have won if you respected that setup, for example. That's something that to keep in mind as well. So with that being said, I have this trend filter filtering out, and let me show you kind of example of trades in that regard. So it would basically try to filter out all the all the trades and show you the trades that are aligned um, with the trend, right? For example, this trend here, it's showing that the trend is going up, and that's why it kept this one, but it removed a lot of these guys here. It would be removing a lot of those that the bad trades. So this is another good example here. And also very sensitive. It's not like a trend, a very strict. I choose not to make it very strict. It's very sensitive to the trend. You can see that at this shift here, this is a good example. As I told you guys, the statistics changes here. You have to look at the statistics as well. And this is this performance, what I call performance, and this is a demo account where I just keep trying because I'm working on Axiom Trade. In Axiom Trade, I keep opening trades. And if you guys don't know what's Axiom Trade, it's a manual trading tool that would allow you to open trades. So the trend basically was calculated in this manner here. I might want to make the anyways, so you'll get the idea. So the trend was going down here and the trend was going up here. So it shows this one. It skipped this one here. So this one was skipped, right? It showed this one, and this one was skipped because now we're going in an uptrend, right? That's an uptrend, was skipped, and this one was shown right here. So it showed you two trades based on the trend filter. So that's how it works. Keep in mind, this comes with a buffer that is different than the raw and different than the breakout filter, right? The breakout filter has a different buffer. This one has a different buffer, and the raw signal has a different buffer. Each one has specific buffer for it to be used with the automation. Moving on, the AI. Now, this is very interesting. I want you to pay very close attention. Now, with the AI, it's still new. This is my direction, guys. This is why I told you guys, I am looking at this from a different perspectives, and I am coming up with ideas all the time. And the AI is going to take the buy, the sell, the buy only, the sell only, and the weight into consideration. Based on the way I have done it right now, weight would not return any signal, zero signals whatsoever. And you can see that I have 0, 0, 0. In the history, it was the same thing. Whenever I get a signal, what happens is that whenever I get signal, it looks at the status of the AI decision, and if it aligns with that signal, for example, if I got a buy signal here at this point, and I get the decision of the market is buy, it would show and validate and send you a notification of that signal. It would show it here, as simple as that, right? It would show you the entry. That's the wrong line. It show you the entry, it show you the stop loss and take profits, right? Take profit lines, because that aligns with the buy. Now, but if the problem that happens is that if it's weight, it's not going to show you anything. And that's why sometimes you will not get any signal whatsoever. But if I keep scrolling, for sure there might be some signals on the chart, and I'll show you an example. Because the way it works is as simple as that. It would take into consideration the entire setup. It would take into consideration the entire setup, and it would calculate. Unfortunately, there's no example here, but I am sure there's some example somewhere where it makes a lot of sense. Even on the higher time frames, I would doubt that there is any signal. So, in other words, what is happening is basically that the atomic analyst is trying to read the entire market so that it finds those kind of trades. Let me see if I can find something on these, because these time frames are limited. Well, like we don't have the entire spectrum of the time frames. But in all cases, I would show more examples in the next videos. But the idea behind this EI filter is that show you it would show you the trades that are aligned with the buy only and sell only, right? So based on the latest calculation, which is the trend. So it filters out the trend, and that's how I made it now. But I might change my mind and I would do a lot more research, and probably I would filter out only the raw. You see how this thing works. Now, if I filter out only the raw by the EI decision, for example, I would get the sale when I have a sale only. That would be a lot more better, a lot more easier to get a lot of trades. But I don't want to do that because I'm looking for a good quality setups. And I'm going to keep working on that until I find something really interesting. That EI is still a child in here, and it's going to grow to become um, a lot more better. And it's going to be the entire, as a matter of fact, it's going to be the entire idea of this product, hopefully. So that's what you got here, guys. This is the entire setup. You can switch between the kind of strategies that you want. Think of them as strategies, right? That comes with the filters, and this would fit your. But now you might ask me, why do you have four strategies in one indicator? Why don't you just come up with one? Because this atomic analyst, the idea of the atomic analyst is not that. The idea of atomic analyst and also the smart family is educational. I want to educate the user with the entire market. That's my dream. That's my goal. That's my vision, and that's my mission. Right. I wanted to bring knowledge to the traders because I was one of them, and I came to the MQL5 knowing nothing, and I learned and learned and learned and learned for days and nights, and tried this, tried that, and I wish that there was somebody like me who was creating tools based on knowledge, right? And creating videos and online courses that would I would just follow, and I would just learn from those things, and I would just shift from that knowledge to something that is personal. And that's something I didn't have. I had struggled a lot, lost a lot of money, to be honest. I've made a lot of mistakes, like a lot of mistakes you can't even imagine. And that's basically my goal, is to bring education. That's why Atomic Analyst is an educational tool. I'm thinking about creating a tool that would cater to the people who want, like, okay, or from my perspective, just for myself, I will unify all the knowledge that I had from the smart trend, from the smart price action concept, from the atomic analyst, from the smart universal expert advisor, the entire setup. I would take everything I learned from each one of them, and I'll put it in one product that does not really require any analysis. As a matter of fact, it wouldn't even have colors or anything like that. It would show you setup, stop loss, take profit, something that actually is working, and that's my goal. And I'm working on that uh, as we speak. Okay, so I have the smart trend trading system here to show you guys that it is possible to have them both at the same chart without any issues. And look at the speed of both of them. Like, there's no conflict whatsoever. You can put one next to the other. And the most amazing thing that I'm gonna be adding to the smart trend, it is this button here. I'm gonna add it as well here, so that you can switch between each one of them swiftly, right? Like, let's say, for example, that's the button I'm going to be adding in here, basically, as simple as that. So I have this show and hide button here, which it'll be duplicated there. And you can also see the modes that I have added in the previous updates, between the day and night, and you can switch between these and give that the night and give this one the day, for example. And what I'm trying to show you guys is that, okay, I have that button on, so I can switch between the atomic analyst and the smart trend trading system easily without any problem. That's me scrolling using the mouse, by the way. It's not a bug or anything like that. So I scroll because that's how you want to know that the chart is healthy. Just scroll it fast like this. It should be very responsive. So to show that and hide and show and hide, and let me just bring that so I can switch between the two. So let's say, for example, I have switch places. That's why. So these kind of things are annoying to me, and that's why I keep finding solutions, because I brought this one here because I don't have that button and it gets out of the way. It's just annoying. That's why I came up with solutions all the time. So I would show both of them, and I would preferably remove the background because the colors. This is how you remove that color, the background color of the atomic. So now I have both of them in the same chart, and I have the stop loss and take profit that I keep talking about, guys. If you want to bring the stop loss and the take profit to the smart trend trading system, buy the atomic analyst. It's 50% now discount, and you can have the take profit, stop loss, and all that stuff as well here. And not only that, I showed you that the all kinds of raw signal and stuff like that. This way you can have more signals as you wish, right? So I would, for example, hide the smart trend trading system, and I'm left with a clean chart of the atomic analyst, and I could do the same thing back and hide both of them and just work with a clean chart if I wanted to do a quick um, simple price action. But if I wanted to switch again and I wanted to see just the trend trading system, I would hide the atomic analyst and vice versa, right? So that's how it works, right? Really quick, fast, and easy. I have optimized both of them to work in a hand in hand. The problem that I had also, and I wanted to talk about with you guys, is that I have two MT5s. I have one broker MT5 here, and I have this MQL5 MT5. I highly encourage you guys to have the MQL5 because it's easy to be updated, and all my programs are going to be following the updates in the new builds of MT5. That's how I look at it. If you have an old broker MT5 and something does not work for you, make sure to update to the latest MT5, and you can do that by clicking here and check for latest update, latest version release, or you go to about and you read this build here. It's at the time we were talking, it's 6188. Now the version is still 5, but there are builds that change, right? All right, that's it, guys. This is the Atomic Analyst, right? Fast, simple, easy, good looking, a lot more good looking than before. And I have added tons of indicators, tons of features. You can switch time frame in here. You can change the color of the background, as I told you here. You can turn on the alert and off the alert, and you can hide the entire setup here. You go to the inputs. I have a very extensive inputs. I talked about the inputs in the masterclass. I have added, I almost forgot about this. The automation, guys. The automation is a different mode that would remove the panel from the setup, and you will be left. That's the panel of the Atomic Analyst, by the way, the smart trend trading system. So let's just minimize that. I can remove it just for to make a point here and keep talking about the Atomic Analyst as alone. So this, guys, is the automation mode. What I mean by the automation mode is when you want to turn the Atomic Analyst into an automatic expert advisor using the Smart Universal Expert Advisor, you have access to all the buffers that are shown all at the same time, and you can choose between them. And look at this. When I zoom, when I hover over it, you're gonna get a tooltip, and it says breakout filter cell buffer 12. It will give you the cell, the name of the indicator, or the name of the filter, and it will give you the buffer. Now, if I move to the next one, which is below, this comes with a buffer 10, and it's a raw signal. And you kind of keep on moving. They all have different shapes. Now, this one is different. even though they sometimes happen. That's the trend filter, right? Buffer 50. And I mean, you got the idea. This is the raw signal. So if you have this one and you call the atomic analyst from any iCustom expert advisor, you can set up the inputs to this input right here. You can write this input, the entire name of the input, if you are using a different expert advisor. But if you are using the smart universal expert advisor, then you don't have to do that, because I have it done already for you, and you don't have to worry about that because it will be detected automatically, and you only have to change the buffers. But if you are using an iCustom, an expert advisor with an iCustom, you can change these guys here, and you will get whatever you want. You want to go back to the visual mode, you click on this one and click on visual and go back to the visual mode, and you get the panel in the normal setup as we have it before. Now in the normal visual, you will get only one buffer at a time with the click. That's how you want to look at it, guys. So I hope, yes, more settings, more inputs. I almost forgot again. Okay. I don't like making videos long, but they happen to be long. So in this here, you can show and hide a lot of things. So let me show you something. You don't want the EI decision to be shown. So you go to the show EI atomic decision card. You click turn it to false. I'm going to look for the MTF here, and I want it to show the multi-time frame confirmation section. I want to turn that off. That's just an example. This is the show and hide section where you can show and hide elements. And this is the atomic analyst hotkeys. You can use these hotkeys to control the entire setup, including, for example, toggle by the night and day mode, which is clicking this button. If you don't want to click it, look for it and click it, you can just use the D on the keyboard. And this works for the rest, right? Cycle between the raw, breakout, and trend in EI signals. You can use the F. F stands for filter, D stands for day, I stands for intelligence, AI, M stands for minimize, P stands for, it should stand for mode, but mode is taken by the minimize. So D, as I said, A stands for the alert. That's where you can turn alert on and off. B stands for the background color, and H stands for hide all and show all. Okay. Now let's go to, these are the buffers, buffer list with all the buffers, numbers and all that stuff. I'm working on the stop loss and take profit buffer, but I cannot give you a deadline on when it's going to be ready. The unified alerts. So you have alerts for every single thing that we have here. Even the TP1, TP2, and stop loss, you will be alerted when the hit. We have alert when the buy only signal, sell only in weight changes, this status. We have alert of the threshold of this quality. When the quality goes above 80, it will send you a signal. We have alert for the MTF, this one here. When it's bullish, for example, and it's more than 80, it will send you a signal. These are things that you can change. For example, I want 17 instead of 80. I can do 70, and it will show me, it will tell me, okay, the trend is bullish at 70 or bearish at 70, right? And on and on and on. You can do a lot of notify the spread, the volume. What it tells you that the volume is okay. Sometimes it tells you that the demand is bullish, for example, that the momentum is very strong. And you can set up all these guys here, right? You have an export signal for the guys. I said this before. The guys who sell signals in Telegram groups, you can automate that, because this is going to be written. All the signals are going to be written with the stop loss take profits, and you can copy those automatically from your terminal or from your Windows and send them directly with an API to the Telegram signal. You have the normal atomic analyst indicators that we have here. And if you go down, you would see the indicators that I used for the MTF. So this is the MTF evidence engine. And these are the indicators used to calculate. You kind of see that the calculation is simple. Okay, just okay, M2 green 80%. Okay, very simple color and then the percentage. But what goes into that calculation is this entire list from here all the way down, calculating all these guys in getting data from these guys here to just give you those two elements. And that's why it takes a little bit of time to populate this with the right numbers, because it's calculating in the background and you have to be patient with that. With that being said, guys, the video intention was 10 minutes. I swear, I started recording with an intention to make the video 10 minutes. It's 35 now. Okay. All right, guys, this is the Atomic Analyst. This is the new update of the Atomic Analyst with everything you need to know. I hope that you have learned something in this video. And this is just these clicks here. Whenever you click, it will cycle through these guys. So that's not a big deal. So yeah, guys, see you in the next video.